According to the player's handbook, the Bard is masters of song, speech, and the magic they contain. Bards say that the multiverse was spoken into existence, and that the words of gods give it shape, and that the echoes of the primordial words of creation still echo through the cosmos. But what if your Bard didn't get their magic from music, and instead got them from some other source? What would that even look like? How would you flavor your Bard to make something unique and different? When is a Bard not a Bard? Let's talk about it, and give you bardic inspiration for your next character build. Welcome to the Cleric Corner. My name is Riker, and here we talk about all things Dungeons & Dragons, tapping into our higher powers to create worlds that are more unique and stories that are more impactful. If you're one of the many players who don't quite feel comfortable playing an instrument at the table, or making up rhymes, or seeing Disney's I'll Make a Man Out of You in the middle of combat, but you still like the idea of playing a Bard, you're not alone. I'll be going over 10 ways to reflavor your Bard and make your character more unique, and perhaps fit your playstyle a little bit better. Because contrary to popular meme culture, they're not the horny creatures that we sometimes make them out to be. At least not always. However, with Bards still being the charisma masters that they are, let's look at the first Bard, the Extravert. It is said that extroverts get energy from being around people, so why not your Bard get magic from other people as well? They might be your average party thrower or fraternity, or socialite that just being around people brings them joy. The extrovert pulls magic from the essence of community and interaction. Your charisma could focus on bringing others together, creating social groups, or being your kingdom's event planner. This could also mean that if your Bard is ever alone for a long period of time, they might lose out on their magic. But with their magic coming from people and not instruments, it creates a fun roleplay aspect. But also with being people-focused, you could also become popular and create a following for yourself, cultivating some social media fame, if you will. This Bard I like to call the Lockhart, and of course referring to the Harry Potter character that we know and love. And in the movies, sure, he was still a wizard, but his magic and charisma and how people viewed him came solely from his books and the media. In my Better Clerics video, I touched on clerics getting their powers from followers, and why not bards too? And why not a bard that thrives on groupies and stardom? And when the paladin gets their powers from a conviction to their cause, why not a bard get powers from conviction to self? And sure, you can still have this bard play music or sing, but that's not where their magic really comes from. Or you can be a regular Kardashian and have no talent and all the fame. For all the Kardashian fans, that was a joke. I'm sure they have talent somewhere. But let's say that your Bard does have talent. And it could be music, but what if it were other hobbies? What if it was sculpting, calligraphy, doll making, painting, cooking, or heck, even making YouTube videos? This Bard is called the Creator, and they channel their creative energy through their passion projects to create their magic. Or their magic comes from the joy that they have in creating these things. I think a lot of creators want to just spill a little bit more magic into the world. Your sculptures could be your arcane focuses, and you can literally paint spells into the air, or you can imbue magic into the dolls that you make, much like the artificer does. That actually sounds really scary. Now you can still have a following as a creator, but just doing the things that you love is magic enough for you. But if you think this channel as a creator adds value to you, consider hitting that like button and subscribing. See what I did there? I know you're very impressed by my segues, by the way. But it is my passion project, and I hope to do this full-time one day. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. That's the current goal. One thing I do love about this game though is that it keeps the inner child alive. So for the next Bard idea, let's look at the inner child. This Bard has retained its natural wonder and childlike curiosity that it manifests their imagination into the world. Flavor-wise, I can actually imagine this being very like Jester from Critical Role. And just by sheer belief, you see the magic in the world, even the weave itself. To this Bard, seeing isn't believing. Believing is seeing. This could also manifest as wanderlust or being a natural foodie, but just finding joy and color in the monotonous way of life. They tend to be flowing with either positivity or naivety. And if we look back into our childhood in a general sense, I'm sure many of us have enjoyed Disney movies and Disney princesses, all of us being charmed by their magic. So here we look at the Disney Princess Bard. Specifically, let's look at Snow White, Cinderella, Pocahontas, and Moana. By their loving, passionate, and charismatic personas, they become very in tune with nature and animals. Now, this could be close to the Druid, but I want to take this opportunity to say, it's okay to sometimes blur the lines between classes. It just creates more flavor opportunities and multi-classing options. And besides, I think there is a reason that the Speak with Animals spell is a druid and a bard spell. And in history, there's actually many cases where bards and druids were one and the same. Cultural storytellers around a campfire. But if not in tune with nature, just regular princesses really do have a charisma about them. They have much influence in their status and appeal to those that know her. This could be like unto the Lockhart bard, but actually be legit when it comes to their followers. A bard that gets their strength from their royal subjects. And speaking of people with loving personas, what if bards simply get their power from the contents of their heart and firmness of their character? This bard is the heart of gold, running around starting nonprofits, helping the homeless, putting church groups together, and traveling the world providing water to those that don't have it. These bards are the joy to others through their kindness and compassion. These bards could even be shy and run from attention, but their charisma comes from the trust that others have in them. And again, like the paladin, a bard could get their power from their conviction to their cause. But I definitely see a bard more in a soup kitchen than a paladin would be. But with the hearts of gold, there are also broken hearts. Happy turns to melancholic with the broken bard, because magic can come just as much from pain as it does from fulfillment. There is much power in the dark side. This bard struggles with their inner turmoil and lashes out magically. If there was a wild magic bard, this would be them. And I think a good example of this would be Wanda from Scarlet Witch, who in the event of the death of her lover, created an alternate reality of sorts where this lover still existed, using her power in a way that she never thought possible. But a broken heart isn't the only trauma. We have PTSD, anxiety, depression, and I'm sure many of you can add to that list. But I think it would be a beautiful story to see someone play Dungeons and Dragons and come to terms with this source, or even see it as a gift. And now, with all this talk of emotion, let's look at the bard that embodies emotion itself. And again, leaving music and singing aside, this bard gets their power from the manifestation of emotion. This bard, the mood, channels their emotion as a catalyst to their power. They magnify happiness, sadness, fear, love. And if you wanted to channel anger, it would be perfect for your barbarian. But with their power over emotion, they can help sway the emotion of other people. You could even reflavor this as the opening or closing of chakras. Or you could be recently exposed to the Feywild, which is the plane that embodies emotion itself. But on the other hand, what if your emotions were not your own, and your desires were altered by the wants of another? This bard we call the possessed. There are many spirits that wander the realm with unfinished business searching for resolution. This bard could willingly or forcibly accept a quest from one of these spirits, even acting as a temporary vessel. These spirits could want somebody killed, or simply just want their story told before they really pass on. And of course, a bard is the best way to do that. They could also be ancestors that accompany you in keeping alive the oral tradition of their culture. Or your bard could be the unfinished business themselves, ravaged by vengeful voices in their heads with vicious mockery, possessing others with their charming spirit. But like ghosts, I love incorporating other beasts and creatures in Dungeons & Dragons because there are so much in the lore. So adding other creatures to your backstory, let's introduce this bard, the Inheritor. You get your natural charisma straight from creatures who have the innate charisma themselves. You get your natural charisma from creatures that magical charm is genetic. If we look at the sea, we see a siren. If we look at the sky, we see a harpy. We look at the Feywild, a hag, the abyss, a succubi, the Shadowfell, a vampire, or the Nine Hells, a Rakshasa, where your tabaxi blood could come from a more demonic source. You could also look at races like Triton, Hexblood, or a custom lineage from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You could literally be offspring of these creatures in some way, or a byproduct of experimentation. You could be exposed to their magic in some sort of supernatural way. Either way, you inherit their ability to manipulate and charm. And there are so many other ideas that I had making this video. So if you want a part 2, comment below telling me about your bard characters. And I may even make a homebrew subclass with one of these ideas that I went over, so let me know your favorite, and keep an eye on my Discord linked below. I'll be going over druids next, so stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, go out there and spread the good word of D&D and make the world a better place, both on and off your tables. See you in the next one.